Hello gamers, it me, back again with an Elite Dangerous video. This is Terrier to Beagle episode 3, and I just want to talk about a few little things, starting with the last video, which currently, at the current moment in time, is sitting at 108 views by my count. Well, by YouTube's count. But, it's very... I don't know why the algorithm gods chose me on this fine evening, but over the last 4 or 5 days, 108 people have hovered over it enough so that YouTube says, yep, that counts as a view. I just want to say that I appreciate it, and I never thought, like, you think about, like, 108 people in real life and what that looks like. And even though I don't know it, I don't want to go on too much about it. I just want to say that I appreciate it. I also appreciate the fact that a viewer gifted me a bunch of AUEC, and I wanted to talk about just really quick. While I appreciate the AUEC or UAEC, whatever my dyslexia called it before, you don't have to do that. I really appreciate the gift. I'm not going to use those credits. So I just want to, I don't know. That's kind of what I want to talk about in today's video. As you know, I always try and impart a lesson in this video. I'm trying to tie in like how to find enjoyment and how to find fulfillment in different things. And the title of the YouTube channel is Michael Searches for Dopamine, and so I wanted to a little dopamine receptor life hack that hopefully will help you. And so we'll get back to the Star Citizen thing in a second. Basically, whether Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous, Minecraft, any of the games that I've played on the channel, or any of the games that I will play on the channel, or ever, any of the things that you do in real life, everything that you do, that a person does for some kind of fulfillment, right? And it's ultimately about feeling good. It's ultimately about completing a value of your own. It's been instilled in you, that has grown in you, that you value. And I guess for me, at least as far as goes, as well as some other, for those unfamiliar with Star Citizen, I know this is an Elite video, but I figured I'd link it all together because but transfer credits. In fact, they make it intentionally hard to transfer credits. In Star Citizen, not so much. You kind of just wire credits, and it's like, bam, there's no accept, there's no deny, there's no transfer, there's a little bit of a fee, but it's you're there. And so again, I don't want to poo-poo the gift, and I replied to the guy's comment, the person's comment, and said thank you and all of these things, but it's just, I find fulfillment in the earning of the credits. And as tempting as it is, I really had a really long debate, and I asked some friends that play the game, what they would do. Checking out all the gameplay loops and checking out all the ships that I want to, but ultimately I kind of decided that, hey, the way that I find enjoyment out of the game, as frustrating as it is by earning the things and pride in the grind of that I don't it's almost nostalgic. I talked about it a little bit in that last video with the 108 views, about how it's, you look back even a year, but less than a year, 10 months when I started playing the game, and I was talking about how, you had to run every if you didn't set your spawn, you had to run from the medical bed all the way through Area 18, all the way through Riker Spaceport, and then summon your ship and then go do your thing. And now it kind of just spawns you in the hangar, and how like even just little things like saves you so much time and energy, and it kind of makes me at least feel nostalgic about like, oh, I remember all the work that I had to do back then. Does that? I hope that makes sense, and I hope that it makes sense. Or that gifted me all those credits isn't offended that I'm not going to use them, but it's just I don't really. I guess I just let me explain it using a different game. Minecraft. I have a Minecraft video on this. I'm probably going to start another Minecraft series because due to a disk drive transfer error of my own, I kind of lost that world. That's neither here nor there. But a favorite Minecraft YouTuber of mine is Etho's Lab. I've been watching him for well over a decade now, and they had an or that I think applies here in finding fulfillment in games. I think it was in response to a question that they do. They always do questions at the end of every single player Let's Play video. And the question to him was something along the lines of, how do you find enjoyment in games that you have to play a lot, like Minecraft, over and over again, and have relatively similar gameplay loops? And I think that applies to Star Citizen. And his answer for is, I kind of make like a food pyramid almost of gameplay, a gameplay pyramid, if you will. You remember the food pyramid that you learned in school? I don't know if other countries study it at all, but in America, we pyramid, and like the bottom 50% of the pyramid was like a wedge, and it was all like grains, and then the top like 10% was a wedge, and it was like sugars and milk and shit like that. And no one ever paid attention to it, but we all learned it. But I think Etho made a comparison to that food pyramid about like Minecraft, and how his bottom 50%, he's like a redstoner, right? And so his bottom 50%, and then the next wedge up, which is like 30%, is like exploration and building, and the next one is story things like the Underdragon and Wither and new updates and things like that, and so on. I can't remember his exact thing, but I in Star Citizen, where and other games, for example, to link it to Elite Dangerous, I think for Elite, my main gameplay loop is exploration and like passenger missions, as you can probably tell. My next wedge up would be like challenges, like community challenges, like going to Colonia unengineered and going to Beagle Point, like I'm trying to do here. Things that don't really, in Star Citizen, for me, it's so. I really just like the kind of grindy, like the reputation building. I don't really like the combat except for a little bit. I'm trying to find fulfillment in doing all of that. Just enjoyment, because like I said before, everything that we do to fulfill one of our values, a value or a purpose. Either indirectly or playing video games, like Star Citizen and Elite and Minecraft and things with repetitive gameplay loops that kind of just go over and over again. I try and find that balance, and that balance for me is kind of suddenly having a surplus of credits that would allow me to just do whatever I wanted. As cool as it would be, and like I said, I was very tempted to spend them all on a whole sea and a hole and Hammerhead, and try all of the capital ship gameplay loops and things like that. I just feel like it would take something away from the game for me. And while again, I cannot say enough, I don't appreciate that I do in fact appreciate the gift and the sentiment behind it. It would just take a little bit something away from the game for me. And I hope that you understand that, viewer and gifter and other viewers. As far as applying this kind of lesson to real life, I think that in everything that we do, there, is a value. For me, using soft targets like video games to kind of balance out things like and figure out and understand concepts like this, food pyramid type balance of versus rewards, and grain and vegetables versus sweets, if you will, if you want to use the food pyramid. I think that can apply to lifestyle as well. There's just like the food pyramid, where your ultimate end goal is like a balanced diet and health, just like in video games where it's like consistently come back to the game and enjoy it. I think in life we can also have little pyramids for bigger goals or values or dreams that we have. And so, take it for me, for example, I don't want to go to school. I got the senioritis bad, man. This is my last semester and I got it bad. And so I'm just trying to finish strong and do everything that I need to do and be diligent so that my GPA just stays where I hard for it, and just finish out and be done and say that I did it, and I think for me, one of the values that I consistently return to is fulfilling or work. And so while it doesn't feel particularly satisfying at the end of a school day to come home and just be like, oh, great, I did another class that I ultimately don't really care about right now, I think is part of the grind, if you will. That's part of that bottom tier of the food pyramid or the lifestyle pyramid, where it's like the monotonous, the crap, the tasks that no one wants to do ever, but we have to do because, and things like that lead to the next tier, which might be a little bit more enjoyable, that 30%, where it's like, okay, well, I can do more meaningful career stuff, that I enjoy, work, but is not really just monotony or stuff that I don't want to do, that I have to do to get a diploma and things like that. And maybe the next tier up from that is more career stuff, like things that I really want to do, like dream career stuff or fun career stuff, like a YouTube channel or a 3D printing business, or any other number of things that I want to do that aren't exactly realistic, but do on the side just for fun, but aren't really necessarily healthy full time. And that's like my 20%. And then maybe my top 5-10%, whatever the math works out to on that top tier of the pyramid, is like in video games for fun, spending time with friends, personal things, doing whatever I want, resting. Obviously the math is not, it's not a perfect metaphor, but I hope that I've got my point in that, in saying that just like the food pyramid, just like the video game kind of gameplay pyramid that Etho talked about, and just like the lifestyle pyramid that I've talked about, I feel like there is a balance. There is a moderation, an appropriate moderation for everything that we do. And that moderation helps us achieve any goal that we set our minds to. And so once more, I just want to say, appreciate everybody's engagement on the last video. I really do. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside that many people just like saw something that I produced, even if it was for 1 minute and 30 seconds at a time. I want to say that I'm going to continue to try and do this. I'll probably publish at least one more video over spring break. We're about halfway through spring break now. We'll see. And, I'm going to keep working on Elite, the Adnd, that 0.3 session, the third character, or the fourth character rather. I'm gonna try, because people obviously want to see Star Citizen. I think that's pretty obvious that the algorithm, at least Citizen, I'll try and put some new Star Citizen gameplay out. It's gonna be interesting to see when 4.7 comes out. I don't really want to put out PTU content personally, just because while I like to test some things on the PTU, I don't really like the. I've never really liked the idea of like working on a playtest server and then having all my progress removed once the quote unquote real server gets up. And I know it's Star Citizen, so it gets wiped all the time, but I'm a weirdo, so just accept it. And then hopefully, the Minecraft update is coming out soon too, with the baby animals, and so maybe we could do like a Minecraft thing. And of course, I'll continue with the TWIG stuff. I have some Slay the Spire 2. I have some more Turtle WoW for those Turtle WoW gamers. But yeah, I just want to send a message of thanks, of gratitude, of values, of pyramids, and everything in moderation, like good old Ben Franklin said. Thank you for watching once more, and I'll see you.